Welcome to the debate. You know, the human heart skips a beat when we're terrified, right? It races when we're overwhelmed with joy. It's fundamentally and beautifully erratic.
Completely unpredictable.
Exactly. But a metronome? A metronome is perfectly, undeniably precise. It never falters. It just ticks. And this year, the world's most popular sport is choosing the metronome. Today, we are examining the 2026 World Cup across the US, Mexico, and Canada.
Right, which is shaping up to be the most heavily data-driven tournament in the history of football. I mean, it's powered by this massive, almost invisible web of artificial intelligence.
Yeah, it really is. And that brings us to the central tension we're exploring today. We want to know, does this massive integration of artificial intelligence preserve the passionate, emotional essence of football? Or does it, reduce the beautiful game to a sterile, mechanical calculation for the fans?
Because we are talking about a system that processes hundreds of millions of data points in real time, from semi-automated offside technology mapping a player's exact skeleton, to predictive algorithms basically telling a coach that their star striker is going to pull a hamstring tomorrow.
Right. And my stance on this is that AI actually purifies the fans' emotional connection to the sport. I argue that by eliminating human error and structural injustices, the technology ensures that our passion is reacting to the true game, not to some mechanical flaw of a human referee.
Well, and I contend that by calculating every single millisecond and replacing human interpretation with this automated precision, you are essentially stripping away the unpredictable controversies that create football's cultural lore. You're turning a passionate, visceral experience into, frankly, a cold, over-optimized exercise.
Let's start with what is actually happening on the pitch then. Because to understand the emotional impact on the fan, you have to understand the mechanics of how these decisions are being ripped out of human hands.
Yeah, the server room stuff.
Exactly. Think about the semi-automated offside technology. We aren't just, pointing a better camera at the field anymore. The stadiums are equipped with 12 dedicated cameras positioned right under the roof. And they are essentially treating every player's body like a moving constellation of stars.
Right. It tracks 29 distinct body points per player, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, 29 points. Shoulders, knees, ankles, the absolute tip of the toe. And it is tracking that entire constellation 50 times every single second. Now pair that with the match ball itself.
Right, the sensor inside the ball.
Yes. There is a connected sensor suspended inside the ball that transmits data at 500 hertz, meaning 500 times a second, that ball is pinging the system saying, hey, I am right here.
Which is just an uninterrupted stream of data that, no human cognition could ever possibly compete with.
But that's the whole point. When a pass is made, the system matches the exact microsecond of the kick from that 500 hertz ball sensor with the exact skeletal map of the striker, and within 1 second, the AI stitches together a precise three-dimensional digital avatar of the event.
Basically proving the exact reality of the play.
Exactly. It completely eliminates the optical illusion of a human linesman trying to look at a passing foot and a striker's shoulder simultaneously, which, biologically speaking, the human eye cannot accurately do.
Fair enough. The biology is flawed.
Right. And as a fan, your heartbreak or your joy should be rooted in empirical reality. It shouldn't be the result of a missed call like Diego Maradona's infamous 1986 Hand of God. By generating these 3D avatars, the system builds absolute trust. It brings the fan's emotional experience completely out of the dark.
Okay, but let's step out of the server room for a second and into the living room. Imagine you are watching your favorite team. It's the 89th minute and your striker scores a brilliant, chaotic goal.
Best feeling in the world.
Right. And normally, the human reaction to that is immediate. You jump off the couch, you scream, you hug the person next to you. But now, because of this system, you sit there, you hold your breath.
Well, you're waiting for the check.
Yes. You wait 15 agonizing seconds for a 3D hologram to be rendered and transmitted to the referee's earpiece, just so a machine can give you permission to be happy. Is that really the emotional experience we want?
I mean, I'll concede that the immediate, unbridled euphoria might face a slight delay, but think about the alternative here. The alternative is jumping off your couch, celebrating a goal that was fundamentally illegal, and then having the opposing fans suffer a completely unjust defeat. The delay is just the price of truth.
But you are assuming that truth is what fans actually want out of football. Football's emotional resonance is built precisely on its imperfections and the heated debates they spawn. I mean, FIFA's own documentation for this tournament boasts that this AI leaves zero room for interpretation or debate.
Which is a good thing.
Do you realize how damaging that is to the culture of the sport, though? Football is not just the 90 minutes on the pitch. It is the pub conversation afterward. It is the Monday morning water cooler arguments over whether a player was interfering with play.
You know, I think you are romanticizing injustice.
I am romanticizing human experience. The hand of God is still talked about today, decades later. It shaped the lore of the sport. When an AI instantly generates a definitive avatar proving a decision by 3 millimeters, you kill the post-match conversation. There is zero mystery left. You are solving a mechanical problem, yes, but you are completely sterilizing the emotional ecosystem.
I see why you feel that way, I really do. But romanticizing a blown call is like, well, it's like holding on to a broken clock just because it belonged to your grandfather.
Hey, broken clocks have character.
Ha, maybe. But just because it's traditional doesn't mean it's desirable. When the referee missed Maradona's handball, it wasn't some romantic mystery. It was a structural failure of a sport that had simply outgrew human perception. Look, eliminating these judgment disputes actually frees the fan.
Frees them to do what exactly? Stare at a screen?
No, it frees them to direct their passion toward the player's actual skill, their creativity, the tactical brilliance of the manager. If you aren't spending your Monday morning screaming about a referee's eyesight, you elevate the conversation.
But the machine doesn't stop at officiating. I think if it were just about getting offsides right, maybe I'd agree with you. But this AI system is bleeding directly into the television broadcast itself. It's completely hijacking the fans' viewing experience.
You mean that the transparency it provides through the tactical overlays?
I mean, the visual clutter. The AI video stabilization on the referee's ear-mounted cameras is one thing, but then the broadcast takes all this real-time tracking data and overlays incredibly complex metrics right onto the screen.
Right, the augmented reality features.
Exactly. We are feeding casual fans advanced data like expected goals and pressing triggers while the ball is still in play.
Well, yeah, because it deepens their emotional investment. Let's unpack how that actually works for a second. Expected goals, or XG, isn't just some random number pulled out of thin air. When a player takes a shot, the AI instantly looks at thousands of ghosts of players who took a shot from that exact blade of grass.
Right, calculating the historical probability.
Yes, under that exact defensive pressure at that exact angle to the goalkeeper. It then tells the viewer the mathematical probability of that shot going in. For the first time ever, a casual fan can see the underlying matrix of the game. They can understand why a team is sitting deep or how a specific midfielder is breaking defensive lines.
Look, I understand the mechanism, but I really question the psychological effect it has on the viewer. You are intellectualizing a visceral experience. Let's say a player receives the ball surrounded by 3 defenders, spins, and plays a perfect 50-yard through ball.
A beautiful moment.
Right, and the organic human reaction to that is a gasp. It is an intuitive, gut-level recognition of absolute genius. But if the broadcast immediately plasters a graphic on the screen measuring their pass completion under pressure, quantifying their composure with a decimal point, we are changing the fundamental nature of our engagement.
I disagree. I think we are just understanding the genius on a deeper level.
Are we, or are we auditing a spreadsheet? If I have to look at a transition dynamics chart to confirm that the momentum shift I feel in my gut is statistically valid, I am no longer watching a sport as a fan. I am processing it as a data analyst.
I think that's a bit extreme.
But it's true. And data analysts don't experience the fiery, irrational passion that makes football a global phenomenon. You are taking the absolute magic of spontaneous human creativity and reducing it to a math equation.
I'm not convinced by that line of reasoning. mostly because you are treating knowledge and emotion as mutually exclusive. Understanding the mechanics of a beautiful piece of music, like knowing the time signature and the chord progression, doesn't stop you from crying when you hear it.
Well, that's a different kind of art form, though.
Is it? In fact, when the broadcast shows a casual fan exactly how mathematically difficult that 50-yard pass was, it makes the emotional payoff even greater. You realize you just witnessed a statistical anomaly. You literally witnessed the impossible.
But that's the core of my entire issue with this. We are moving from a sport of human reaction to a sport of predictive optimization. And nowhere is that more terrifyingly apparent than in how this AI manages the overarching narrative of the tournament. I'm talking about the predictive injury algorithms.
Oh, which is arguably the greatest breakthrough in player welfare in the history of modern sports.
Okay, medically, yes, it is an absolute marvel. I don't deny that for a second. If you look at the system architecture, the AI is analyzing multiple massive data streams simultaneously. It takes biomechanical stress patterns extracted from those optical tracking cameras and combines them with fatigue indicators from the player's wearable tech.
Right, it looks for these tiny micro asymmetries.
Exactly. So if a player's right leg is suddenly pushing off the turf with, say, 4% less force than their historical baseline, the system flags it.
Which is incredible. It correlates that slight change in stride length with historical injury data to identify a high risk of a hamstring tear or ACL damage. It's literally like checking a highly advanced weather radar before a storm hits, rather than just standing in an open field waiting to get struck by lightning.
Right, and it alerts the coach hours or even days in advance.
Exactly. So they can adjust the training load, make a preemptive substitution, and potentially save a player's career.
But think about what that weather radar actually does to the drama of a World Cup. A World Cup has historically been this gripping, completely unpredictable test of human endurance. It is about dramatic sacrifice.
I feel like we're romanticizing again.
Now, listen, the defining images of this sport are players pushing through exhaustion, the bandaged hero playing through the pain for the absolute pride of their nation. It is a manager looking their star player in the eye on the touchline and asking, can you give me 10 more minutes?
Yeah, and usually the player says yes, and then their ligament snaps.
But that vulnerability is part of the human drama. When AI transforms this from a test of human limits into a highly managed, algorithmic, risk-averse system, you completely change the role of the manager.
How so?
They aren't tacticians feeling the organic flow of the game anymore. They are risk management actuaries checking a tablet to see if their biomechanical load has exceeded the optimal threshold. The narrative is no longer about heroic sacrifice. It's about load management dictated by a machine.
I have to push back strongly there. Heroic sacrifice? You are talking about preventable, career-altering physical damage. I mean, nothing kills a fan's emotional journey faster than seeing their favorite player carried off the pitch on a stretcher because of a blown hamstring that a machine could have easily predicted.
But taking the physical risk entirely out of the game sort of sanitizes the achievement, doesn't it?
I disagree, especially when you look at how this specific data is being distributed. The predictive technology and the entire Football AI Pro system actually enhances the narrative drama of the tournament. It does that by democratizing elite analytics.
Ah, you're referring to the generative AI knowledge assistant developed for the federations.
Yes, exactly. It processes over 2,000 football-related metrics. But here's why that actually matters emotionally for the fans. It gives all 48 participating national teams the exact same analytical power.
Which used to be a massive advantage for the wealthy teams.
Precisely. In the past, only massive federations like Germany, Brazil, or France could afford armies of data scientists to find tactical edges. But now, a smaller nation like Costa Rica or Morocco receives customized AI models trained on their specific opponents.
Right, they can simulate tactical changes in virtual scenarios before the game even starts.
Exactly. They get the exact same deep analysis of pressing intensity and positional discipline as the absolute giants of the sport.
So your point is you are leveling the playing field.
We are creating a tournament where underdog Cinderella runs aren't just based on luck and passion anymore. They are supported by equal access to cutting-edge technology. Furthermore, the system generates those 3D avatars for all 1,248 players in the tournament, monitoring everyone to keep them at peak performance.
Right.
When the best players stay healthy and smaller nations can actually tactically outsmart the Titans, the drama is elevated. You get better football, you get more competitive matches, and a much deeper emotional investment from the fans of those underdog nations.
Okay. I will grant you that democratizing the analytics allows smaller nations to punch above their weight. But I really want to challenge the end result of that democratization. If you give every single team the exact same data, and the AI tells every single coach what the mathematically optimal style of play is, you destroy the clash of cultures.
Wait, how does it destroy the culture?
Because optimization is the enemy of diversity. Historically, World Cups were fascinating because you had the rigid, disciplined tactics of European teams clashing with the fluid, improvisational flair of South American or African teams. They played differently because their cultures viewed the game differently.
But tactics evolve naturally anyway.
Sure, but if an AI model definitively proves that a specific high-pressing, data-driven system is mathematically superior, everyone will eventually adopt it. You homogenize the sport. Every single team turns into an identical, data-optimized machine.
But at the end of the day, they are still human beings executing the game plan on the pitch.
Barely. Look at the entire ecosystem we've discussed today. Automated camera systems adjusting zoom and framing without human operators, AI predicting the impact of substitutions based on opponents' fatigue, a computer literally whispering offside decisions into the referee's ear.
It's a comprehensive system, yeah.
Right. At every single touch point, from the television screen to the touchline to the referee's whistle, a machine is intermediating the human experience. The game becomes technically flawless, yes, but it loses its soul. Passion is inherently messy. And when you remove the mess, you remove the passion.
Well, I think we've clearly mapped the boundaries of this transition. My perspective remains that AI amplifies and protects the passion of the game. By utilizing these tracking cameras, those 500 Hertz ball sensors, and the predictive health models, we are basically purifying the sport.
Purifying or sterilizing, depending on how you look at it.
Purifying. We are ensuring objective fairness, preserving player health so the actual stars can shine, and giving fans unprecedented transparency into the tactical beauty of football. The emotion of the game is just so much stronger when the structural flaws and preventable tragedies are removed from the equation entirely.
And my position remains that this relentless drive toward optimization comes at a severe cultural cost. Calculating every millisecond of contact and projecting every injury risk turns managers into actuaries and fans into auditors.
An interesting way to phrase it.
Well, when you eradicate the historical controversies, over-quantify the viewing experience, and actively manage human endurance through an algorithm, you really risk turning a beautifully imperfect human sport into a sterile mechanical exercise.
Yet, despite our different views on the emotional cost here, it is undeniable that the 2026 World Cup represents a massive paradigm shift. It is a quantum leap from the basic, rudimentary tracking we saw in Qatar back in 2022.
Oh, absolutely. In 2022, we had limited body tracking and some very basic visualizations. Now, with 29 tracked points, real-time earpiece feedback, and the full democratization of the Football AI Pro system across all 48 teams, the infrastructure is entirely locked in.
The technology is integrated from the grassroots level all the way up to elite competition. There is absolutely no going back now. The future of football is officially running on artificial intelligence.
Yeah, the automated cameras, the 3D avatars, the predictive algorithms, this is just the new reality of the sport. We are witnessing the birth of a vastly different emotional ecosystem, whether we happen to like it or not.
Which means it will inevitably create a new kind of modern football fan. One whose relationship with the game is mediated by a level of mathematical precision we have simply never seen before. So, to leave our listeners with something to consider, think back to that erratic heartbeat and that perfect metronome. The next time you are sitting on your couch watching a match and a critical heart-stopping goal is scored only for you to sit waiting in silence for an automated, algorithmic 3D avatar to confirm it, pay close attention to your own emotional reaction in that exact moment. Decide for yourself if the beautiful game feels purer to you or just more computed.
Does it skip a beat or does it just tick?
Thank you for joining us on the debate.